Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Good 5 Cent Cigar Newscast. I'm Ella Gerdts. Thank you so much for joining us. This week, we look into URI being recognized by the Wall Street Journal and a protest. And of course, David Okula will have all things Rhody athletics covered in this week's Rhody Sports Corner. For our top story, for the second year in a row, the Wall Street Journal named the University of Rhode Island the #1 public university in New England. Eliza White spoke with members of URI on their thoughts on the recognition. Here's Eliza with the story.
On October 1st, the Wall Street Journal named the University of Rhode Island #1 public university in New England for the second year in a row. I had the opportunity to sit down with URI's president, Mark Parlange, to discuss the weight of this achievement.
First of all, it is a reflection on student success. Our graduates are doing extremely well. They are both achieving a lot and getting their careers started. And so that was really a reflection on that.
Many students and staff were thrilled about this distinction. They are excited to see the university recognized for all its achievements.
I think it's spectacular. You know, URI is so underrated in terms of it's our state institution. As someone who grew up in Rhode Island, oftentimes we think, oh, it's URI, everybody goes there. And we don't necessarily recognize just how great it is here.
I think that it's really cool. I didn't come to the school knowing it was #1, and to see how it's #1 and how the school is growing is really awesome because we are a really good school, and I'm happy that it's other people are noticing that.
I think it's really, really incredible. It speaks volumes to the talent we brought in, for the professionals we bring here, the students, the student community, the energy that we have, and that we're always striving to do better, on so many different levels.
I really came here because it looked pretty, a lot of the time. This is beautiful out here, and I love just all the National coming out down the quad. This is kind of crazy, and I'm so glad I'm here and my school does something like this. It's really cool. It's awesome.
When you come here and you hear all of the different majors that students are engaged in, and the work and the research and the things that they're doing, it's so spectacular.
President Parlange also explains that this achievement means a push for new facilities, housing, and research, emphasizing the Narragansett Bay campus with their upcoming ocean robotics program as an example.
And then we have very ambitious plans. We finished our campus comprehensive plan for the next 25 years, where we're going. So that provides, in a sense, a very ambitious blueprint.
Students, faculty, and staff alike have expressed their pride in representing this university. I'm Eliza White with the Good 5 Cent Cigar. Back to you.
Thanks, Eliza. Last Saturday, people gathered at the Rhode Island State House to protest against President Donald Trump and his presidency, thus far in what was called the No Kings protest. Reporter Chan-Smutko was on scene and has the story.
I'm currently outside the Rhode Island State House where people are protesting for the No Kings protest.
Rhode Islanders walked half an hour through the streets of Providence to the State House, holding signs and wearing costumes. While walking, they yelled different chants referring to Trump himself and the cost of his decisions throughout his second term as president.
Rhode Island stands up! Rhode Island stands up! Rhode Island stands up! Rhode Island stands up! Rhode Island stands up!
I think it's important to come together and protest and fight for what we believe in.
It's important to stand up for what you believe in and exercise your American right of freedom of speech and assembly.
This has been Chan-Smutko with the Good 5 Cent Cigar. Back to you.
Thanks, Casey. Looking ahead, here's what's going on next week at URI. URI's annual Family Weekend is taking place this week, starting Friday until Sunday. This fall tradition brings URI families together to enjoy a weekend filled with entertainment, food, football, and other fun activities. To learn more about Family Weekend, head over to URI's official website. With that, I'll hand it off to David Okula with this week's Rhody Sports Corner.
Thanks, Ella. Hello and welcome to the Rhody Sports Corner, your place for all the latest updates across URI athletics. I'm David Okula. Women's soccer hosted St. Louis on Sunday as the Rams look to extend their unbeaten streak to 6 games and hop into second place in the conference standings. After taking an early lead, Rhody surrendered 4 unanswered goals on their way to a 4-1 defeat. Angel Gonzalez has the story from the URI soccer complex.
Despite the momentum from Thursday's 5-0 shutout win against George Washington, Saturday afternoon here at the URI soccer complex was a huge letdown as they fell to St. Louis in a 4-1 match to end their 2-game winning streak. This game started out physically, with both teams showing their aggressiveness early before senior McKenna Sylvester got her team-high 8th goal of the season in the 10th minute. That good start didn't last long, though, as senior Julia Simon got her first goal of the game in the 14th minute to tie it. The rest of this half went straight back to physical, with both teams playing tough defense, keeping it scoreless. Huge part of the defense in this first half was the strong goalie play on both sides, as both Danny Eden and Emma Parker were giving it their all. In the 48th minute, Hope Kim scored her first goal of the season, which was directly followed by Julia Simon's second goal of the game off of a penalty kick in the 58th minute. The Rams would try desperately to get back into this match for the remainder of the game before Julia Simon would add insult to injury, scoring her third goal of the game in the 87th minute to complete the hat-trick. This loss put an end to a strong 5-game unbeaten streak. Here are head coach Megan Jesse's thoughts on the game.
I mean, 3 of the goals obviously are set pieces. We have to do better. 2 penalty kicks. We can't allow the official to make that much of an impact on the game. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think we'll see him again in postseason. And, you know, I think obviously there's lessons to be learned from this game. When you play a good team like that, they'll make you pay if you make mistakes in key moments, and they did.
The Rams will try and bounce back from this as they have a game at Loyola Chicago and a home game versus Dayton in the final stretch of the season before the A-10 playoffs.
Thanks, Angel. As for some other scores and results around campus this week, football went on the road to take on Albany on Saturday, where the Rams remained undefeated in conference play with a dominating 58-17 win over the Great Danes. Men's soccer dropped its second consecutive conference match on Saturday in a 2-1 loss to St. Joseph's on the road. Prior to its loss against St. Louis, women's soccer collected its 5th straight shutout in a convincing 5-0 victory over George Washington on Thursday. Volleyball saw its losing streak extend to 10 matches when it got swept by St. Louis on the road this weekend. First, the Rams suffered a 3-1 loss on Friday before falling 3-0 on Saturday. Golf defeated the rest of the 12-team field at the Nassau Intercollegiate this week to win its 3rd event of the year. Rowing participated in its 2nd event of the fall season at the Head of the Charles in Boston on Saturday and Sunday. Finally, Swim and Dive hosted its first home meet of the year as the Rams fell in a close battle against Northeastern by a score of 156-143. That's all for this week's edition of the Rhody Sports Corner. To stay updated with all things URI athletics, follow us on X at @cigar_sports. Back to you, Ella.
Thanks, David. That's all we have for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow us here and on Instagram at Rhody Cigar and pick up our print paper anywhere on campus to stay up to date with all your Rhody news. Find us online at rhodycigar.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Ella Gerdts. This is the Good 5 Cent Cigar Newscast, and as always, have a great week, Rhody.